What's up, everybody? Let's install Viva Pinata Games for Windows Live Edition. All the links to all the files that I have will be in the description. First, we'll have the ISO, which contains the game installer, then xlive listness. This is a xlive um, project that people are working on in order to restore the original functionality of games for Windows Live, which no longer exist anymore. So what this will do is it will allow you to create an account and have saves and also see the achievements. So you will need this in order to save. If you want the unofficial Pinata patch mod that I've created, has unlimited garden space, and it has the ability for you to send crates to yourself. In the game, when you went to send, like, if you went to the menu to send the crates to yourself, your name would not pop up on there. This patch will make it to where your name is on that list. And then, if the unofficial Pinata patch has the exact same things the CheatMenu has, but the CheatMenu is excluded from the unofficial Pinata patch, meaning that you don't have to install the unofficial Pinata patch. You could just install the CheatMenu, and you'll also have the unlimited garden space and the patch for the crates. But what the CheatMenu gives you access to is a menu. When you press insert in the game, it will show you different options, like you can set your level, your experience, your coins. You can set it to always give you a wild card, instant break, sick pinata, instant break items. Um, just a bunch of pretty cool features, being able to set the time and stuff. However, I would not install this until you have completed the tutorial, because the time mod can mess up the tutorial, and if the tutorial starts with the CheatMenu, sometimes you'll get weather and that'll just soft lock the game because Lefos will go inside of her building and you'll just be stuck there without input or anything. So yeah, you're gonna wanna beat the tutorial before installing the CheatMenu. And I mean, nothing in the CheatMenu or the unofficial Pinata patch will help within the tutorial anyway, so it's better to just complete the tutorial before installing the mods. But without further ado, you want to extract the zip, get the ISO, right click the ISO, press mount. I've already mounted it. It might ask you, like, are you sure you want to run this ISO? You just press OK, and then you'll get the setup.exe. When you run it, you want to press more info if it pops up this, and run anyway. And then it might show you a screen saying, are you sure you want to run this in administrator? Just press yes. As far as I know, this doesn't have a virus. I've installed it plenty of times before, and I haven't noticed anything. I have Malwarebytes, and it hasn't detected it, so I think it's just a false positive with Microsoft. Probably because it's a Microsoft game, but yeah. Now you want to go next. You want to set a location. I'm going to set this to my desktop just so that it's easier to show you guys how to install this. But you will have to remember where you installed the files in order to install the xlive patch and the CheatMenu. Just press next and install. And then you want to wait until this is completed. So with the magic of video editing, now we're done. um, Now that the installer is complete, all you have to do is open up the Viva Pinata root folder, wherever you installed it onto the desktop. And then you're going to open up the Xbox Live listness, and you're going to want to copy the DLL in this folder on top, replace the file in description or destination. Now, what you want to do is, since I'm recording and I kind of need the Alt-Tab feature, I'm going to go ahead and install, or halfway install, the cheat menu. I'll remove the actual cheat menu from the plugins, but I need the ability to have Viva Pinata as a borderless window. So if we just copy all the files into the root folder, we can go to, or I can go to plugins and I can remove the ASI. If you haven't played before and you're just following along, you can delete the file too. That way you can complete the tutorial. But I do recommend coming back and either installing the unofficial patch or this cheat menu ASI. So now that we got that, we can install the HD patch. If you're on lower hardware, I wouldn't recommend the HD patch because this will, you know, 4 times the shadow resolution in Shelfer, so it might lag on lower end hardware. I think the shadow map is like 5K with this mod, so it is kind of overboard, but it'll make sure that all the shadows in the game are crisp. So what I'm going to do is I'll just rename the original exe underscore backup, and then I'll rename the HD file to Viva Pinata. And because the HD file has the skip for the startup, I can just double click the Viva Pinata exe. And that's all we have to do with this stuff, so we can start up the game now. You're going to want to go to more info and then run anyway. It'll pop up this menu. You're going to want to type in your username, so not solar cookies, and you don't have to worry about anything else. I would turn these on though, and then press login. That should connect your account. So now if you just close out, let's get through all this. It should say you don't have a save game. Just press yes. You'll see your username pop up. Now to get back to that username, the Xbox menu, you just press home. It'll pop it up. Yours might not look like this. I have a Windows theme that makes it look like Windows 7, but for some Windows it kind of messes it up, so it kind of looks ugly on mine, but, you know, I would rather it look somewhat like Windows 7 than it to look like Windows 11, because Windows 11 looks like shit. But on here, what you can do is, let's see, if you download the latest version, you'll be able to access the achievements. I guess the one that I have right now doesn't have the achievements. I'll make sure to link the one with achievements, but it should be under debug, and then it'll say achievements, and you click that, and it'll show all the achievements for the game. But yeah, we don't need that window anymore. So we just want to create a new garden. But yeah, I'm going to complete the tutorial. I'll be back. Yo! What the hell? There's a pig! I haven't even unlocked the pig! I'm still in the tutorial, what? That's crazy. Alright. I think that's far enough. So long as we have Gretchen, I feel like that's past the tutorial. Alright, so now that we've completed the tutorial, I'm going to save, and then I'm going to quit the game. And go back to the root folder, go to plugins, and I'm going to install the cheat menu. You can install the unofficial patch if you only want unlimited garden space and the bug fix for the crates. But the cheat menu is completely optional. You don't really even have to press insert. The only thing that affects is the tutorial if you install it before playing the tutorial. But yeah, now that we've installed it, you can see that menu pop up. Solar cookies. I don't know why that didn't save, but here we go. Not solar cookies. And you can see my save is loaded, and if I press insert, the cheat menu pops up. So that tells me everything got installed properly. So, what can the cheat menu do? Well, if you go to garden options, you can set the time. When you set the time, sometimes it like starts raining and then stops raining like instantly, which causes multiple rainbows, which is pretty cool. Then, if you go to entity options, you can see instant break, sick pinata, always wildcard, and instant cocoon. So when pinatas get out of the egg, they'll pretty much instantly go into a cocoon rather than having to wait until the baby grows up. You can also set the hunted pinata, which means Gretchen's like item that she has in the main like Gretchen shop menu can be anything. I can set it to objects if I wanted to. Some of these I wouldn't recommend, like Null 4, you know, obviously that might crash the game, but you definitely could do like Haybell, and then if you go into Gretchen's, she's selling Haybells. My favorite thing to do is buy Ivar. You can place him in the garden if you want. He'll walk around and stuff. Might crash the game if you do that, so I wouldn't recommend doing it on like a save that you care about, but it is pretty cool.
Why send me to fetch it if you didn't want it?
And then, you know, if you wanted like a, let's see, what's a cool pinata? A jelly?
No, keep me in.
I did it again, and I entered Willy. What is up today? I guess I'm just a little nervous. Damn. Okay.
Morning.
The jelly in the original game. Whoa, what the heck? That's a Trouble in Paradise pinata. Yeah, I guess they had a couple that they were working on. It seems like it's all like, you know, Arctic Trouble in Paradise pinata, and they're all like scaled weird, and they crash the game more times than not, so you can't just add them to your garden and then expect the game to run perfectly fine, because some of them are just missing animations, and when it plays those animations, it just, the game doesn't know what to do, so it just crashes. So I'm not gonna place him, but you can.
You go on.
I did it again. That's one thing I don't like about the PC edition, the shop controls are kind of weird. Dragonosh.
No way.
I guess you would actually technically see the Dragonosh in the store, in Gretchen's store, but like, not like this. I need to make sure that the price, some of these prices are messed up, I guess because of like, you know, it's reading data that's not correct, like past the, whatever class stores the price of the pinata. So it's probably reading memory past like the actual memory of the Dragonash, because the Dragonash doesn't have a price, so it wouldn't have the price in the memory, but I don't know. That's just my guess. We'll not place him. I mean, I can probably give myself enough coins to buy him, but I don't even think it's worth it. You can place any of the eggs. You can even place the cutscene egg from the, which Sour Pinata is that? It's the one that eats the eggs. There's a few other pretty cool things. Like you can place the doctor stuff. Oh, if you buy a house from here, rather than having to build...
hunting's off the menu until you deal with the one I'm holding for you.
Hey,
no way.
Jesus.
You need to
I
sign
can't
up on
press
this other
back.
pinata before I fetch you
I have to wait
anymore.
until she's done talking. Damn. Okay. So if you buy a house like this, it'll actually just let you place the house. So you don't need to, you know, have Willy come out and build it. Pretty cool.
Why send me to fetch it if you didn't want it? Keep me in mind.
There's a lot of things I can go into when doing that. I'm not sure why I have the eggs. I think I need to buy something, that way it goes away.
Hello.
We'll see. Hopefully it'll go away. I'll just buy a torch. There we go. So, if we go to player options, you can see the overhead camera height. So if you press like M to do like this camera, you can, you know, adjust the camera height. You can even go negative, so we'll just look. I guess this type of camera looks straight at like the origin point of the world. So if you go negative, it'll look up. If you go positive, it'll look down. It's pretty cool. I mean, it makes you see how small the world is and how 2D all the background props are. Kind of breaks immersion, but that's kind of why I haven't made like a out of bounds like mod, because once you like go out of bounds, you start to realize how small the game is, and it just kind of ruins the aesthetic of the game. You can set your player coins, go up and down, and it even does a little animation. You can set the player level. That might have been too much. We might be stuck with a bunch of cutscenes now. Okay. Oh, no. Cutscene. Alright. Hello. Well, while that's happening, we can go to item options, and you can see instant break items is the thing. So if you like whack any item, it'll just instantly break. I have a debug mode, which will show you some of the things you need to know for like if you're reversing the game. So like, these are just some things that I was working on, but you can see like the player data offset, that's where like the coins and stuff are placed. If you type that into like Cheat Engine, that'll just basically tell you where the player is in memory. It's pretty cool to have. I mean, you could probably do it manually by just searching for the player coins over and over again, but it kind of saves you a little bit of time. You can go to About, it shows all the credits. This person on Reddit provided the list of items, or not the list of items. He provided, or they provided where the offset is to the hunted pinata item entry, and then Ollie added some function hooks, which are disabled in this because they don't really tell you anything really, but pretty cool. And then yeah, I mean, I've been the most active on this, so I've done all this stuff, pretty much everything else. But yeah, I think the coolest thing is the time. Just being able to, you know, set the time to whatever time you want. And then, yeah, like that clears the weather and stuff too, which is pretty cool. I don't know how that affects the pinatas though, does it? Age, 0 days. So yeah, I guess it just doesn't affect that. That's pretty cool, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all you can do right now in the G menu. And I mean, well, shit. I forgot to show you guys the coolest part. Unlimited garden space. Like what everyone wanted.
You got me all excited for nothing. So that...
I have plenty of coins to do this now, so. Thank God for the turbo button on my mouse. This would be so annoying.
Time out.
So yeah,
Trust me,
she'll say this, but you just
you
press checkout, and then you can just continue to place. Like, there's no like, oh, you have too much items in your garden. It's more like, oh, you need to buy what you have in your cart first.
Take a time out. Okay, finish.
Yeah, and you can have unlimited pinata too. The pinata are a little bit buggy when you have too many of them. Sometimes it's like it just lets you, and sometimes it doesn't let you like romance. I'm not entirely sure what's happening there. And if you have too many objects, you'll start to see some visual glitches with like the shadows, and eventually the model buffer just doesn't render any of the models. So you can like it doesn't crash the game, but if you have way too many objects, it will stop rendering the objects. Let's see if I can get that to happen with just the apples.
Sorry, that's the map looks like.
There's definitely like a max buffer for the shadows though, which is way less than actually rendering the objects.
Time out. You won't.
I mean, that's a lot. I'm surprised that it's holding on. It's holding on for dear life right now. Still running pretty good too.
Sorry, that's the maximum. You won't find. Sorry,
And this is taking a while.
You won't find.
I was expecting it to go faster than that. I guess you can have quite a bit of items in the garden before it starts to not render anymore. I'm still looking into how to increase that buffer that can be sent to the GPU, but it might just be a DirectX 9 limitation. I'm not entirely sure. Oh! Oh! There we go. Yeah, one more apple. 2 more apples. And it just stops rendering.
You won't find.
Epilepsy warning, by the way. You might want to not watch the next part, because as I move, things will pop in and out, and it might be a little, you know, uncomfortable to watch. But yeah. You can see that, the game just stops wanting to render some of the objects if you have, you know, way too many items in the garden. If that ever happens, just sell stuff. You don't need every pinata in the garden anyway. Like, I would love to be able to fix this issue. It's just probably not gonna happen. I'm just not skilled enough to know all the, reverse engineering stuff when it comes to, like, the graphics. But, yeah. And if you have too many torches, I think anywhere over the normal amount of torches, it will just stop rendering the particle system above it. You can keep placing them, but like it won't show the particle system. I'm not sure how to fix that either, but it's better than not having the ability to have a bunch of items in the garden, and it's definitely like 4 or 5 times higher than normal before it starts glitching up. So while it's called unlimited garden space, it's more like, multiplied garden space, just because the actual engine can't really handle that amount of objects in the garden. Especially pinata. If you have like, 100 pinata in the garden, you'll start to notice a performance decrease. It will start to like feel sluggish. And I mean, I have a Ryzen 7. I don't know exact like specs of my CPU, but it's a pretty good Ryzen 7, and I have a RTX 3050, so like I have decent specs. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM, like, and it's running pretty good with the HD patch. If I zoom in, I mean, it's hard to see, but like you can see that there's just no, you can't even see layers within the grass. It's just like solid blocks. And the resolution of the shadows, which, I mean, right now is just not the time to show off shadows because the angle of the sun, but, or, I mean, technically, if we want to be technical, it is the sun. There's only one directional light, and it just switches colors when it, actually, I don't even think it switches colors, because, like, if we go to insert and then full screen this, it just changes intensity. You can see, like, the color is pretty much the same as daytime. I'm not sure why my mod menu, like, disables the filter. I kind of prefer the colors behind this transparency. I'm not sure. I might look into like making that a feature where you can just have it be this color, but that'll probably come later. Trying to see if I can get it where this shadow comes in, but you can just see like how much detail the shadow has, right? It's like way more crisp than the original game. The original game you'd be able to see plenty of pixels on, so yeah, pretty good. But I guess that's it. I showed you how to install it and everything, how to use the mod menu. I might have a video coming out later this week showing you how to like actually put your own textures into the game. Like if you wanted to make a custom variant for the Pret's tail, so that the Pret's tail can be, whatever colors you want it to be. I can release that tutorial. It's fairly easy to do. I can also release a tutorial on how to do the out of bounds mod if people are interested in that. But yeah, if you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe and like the video. That way we can kind of force feed people Viva Pinata and they're like recommended, which is awesome. I mean, like, more people need to play this game, and I kind of wish that they would release this game on Steam. All it takes is them replacing the games for Windows Live logic to like Steam logic, or even like just the Microsoft Store, right? And like use the current live system for PC, because they have one. It's just not games for Windows Live. So like, I know it's probably never gonna happen because it's like a 20-year-old game by now, but like, one can hope.
Gardener, need a weedling?
But yeah,
I know I'm
see y'all.